Voice. Peter Kefalas back with you. So what I wanted to touch on this segment is the debate regarding Rikers Island. It's a large island just off of Queens and in the LaGuardia Airport area, a little bit south of the Bronx, right? Between Queens and the Bronx, but on the Queens side by LaGuardia Airport. For those of you who aren't familiar, and very old jail. It's got a very long history with a lot of corruption, a lot of deaths, a lot of beatings, drugs, gangs. Tough place, right, to say the least. The debate here in New York City is we have a lot of people, mostly the radicals, who want to close, Rikers Island. And what they want to do is they want to put a new jail in 4 out of the 5 boroughs. So Staten Island won't get one or isn't planning on getting one. Lucky you, Staten Island. I'm not wishing it upon anybody, but unfortunately for those of us in Queens, the Bronx, Manhattan, and Brooklyn, we are going to get what a lot of people are calling mega prisons. So, for example, we have one here in Queens, just off Queens Boulevard in Kew Gardens, where the criminal courthouse is, and they are renovating it, and they're building it larger, wider, and higher. Somebody was saying recently that they're proposing to put it as high as 40 stories, which would obviously be something where we'd expect from the city of Yes, where our dunce mayor, Mayor Adams, lets developers who donated to him do whatever they want and build as high as they want and build these buildings that just don't fit into the community. So I just can't imagine an eyesore right next to the courthouse, behind it, so to speak, stone's throw from Queens Boulevard, that could potentially be 30, 40, 20 stories. Nobody knows yet. Or they're at least not telling us. One thing that I find troubling is it looks like, and this has been said from the onset when they started to talk about it, is that they plan on building college-like dorms. They're going to have computers and, almost like we're sending our kids to college. Now, I'm not saying that we should have people who are detained on Rikers Island, lack medical care, mental health care, get beat, by staff or by other inmates, or let people get slashed and, killed and suicides. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff that's happened there. There's no way we can go around that. But I don't believe that the reason the far left in the city, the radicals, are proposing to close it is solely based that they're so concerned about criminal rights and the abuses the violence that's been taking place there. So I think it's a little bit two-pronged. Let's see who stands to benefit from building these mega prisons, right? And let's see if any of those entities have given any donations to any of these elected officials that have a say in this, right? Wouldn't be surprised what we find, right? Wink, wink, knowing New York. But I think the bigger picture is, why do they want to close it? Other folks, including myself, have speculated that maybe some large company would eventually move in there and take over, like an Amazon. It's a large island. It's pretty isolated, obviously, from the rest of Queens. You got to come down behind LaGuardia Airport through the Hazen Street area, those of you familiar with that part of town. So might be a great place to put a FedEx facility or a UPS facility as well. Who knows? Or is it something even worse that some developers who've donated to some elected officials, Mayor Adams maybe, wink, wink, are planning on building some type of luxury island, maybe something that would have some kind of theme park, who knows? But it just seems odd, because I would say nobody wants to see anyone get killed or beaten or starve to death or hang themselves in a jail cell. I mean, I'm not advocating for that, no matter what you're there for. But I don't think going into 4 out of the 5 boroughs and building a mega prison that's going to be an eyesore, and nobody in these communities that we've spoken to wants them. Let's just be frank. I don't think that's the way to do it, nor is it coddling to the criminals and building them college-like dormitories, like we would put kids, in a university, and that just doesn't make sense, like it's going to be a college dorm. So what I think the solution is, and I also think, the far left wants to drastically decrease the capacity we have to house criminals, and they want to decrease the head count. That's not a secret. They've been advocating that for years. So I think it's a twofold step. I think we have to rebuild the island. It's a large, vast island. There's plenty of room to rebuild it, make it into a modern, more humane, more manageable facility. And if we have to retrain the staff, we'll retrain the staff too, but I think that would be a better benefit to everybody, especially the taxpayers, than closing down this large island. And then eventually, we're not going to have enough space to put all these criminals. And that's not going to be good for the public either, because we already are not safe with all the crime that happens every day, whether it's our own or our newly arrived friends from other countries. We've imported gangs and criminals that are dangerous. So I think the real situation here with Rikers Island is to rehabilitate it to a modern facility, the infrastructure, retrain the staff, maybe have federal oversight, which they've been threatened with for, I think, probably the last 2 or 3 mayoral administrations here in New York City. But I don't think closing it outright is the right thing to do. And I don't think forcing 4 of the 5 boroughs to have a mega prison or a high-rise prison building, if you will. And I was also looking at some other comments recently where some of the prison experts, so to speak, say you're much better off having a facility like Rikers Island that's spread out widthwise as opposed to a skyscraper or a tall building in terms of safety, security, managing a detention center. So let's see what happens. Obviously, construction is underway. I just drove by recently, today as a matter of fact, and construction has been in full swing at the one in Kew Gardens for a while. And we know it's under construction in the other boroughs as well, 4 out of 5. So I just want to see what your thoughts were. In the comments, let us know what you think. Do you think we should close it? Do you think we should keep it open? Should we retrain the staff and build new facilities or renovate them and make it a modern detention center, a detention complex? A lot of debate going on, but I think the way that our current leaders here in New York are positioning themselves is not going to benefit public safety or the taxpayers. What a surprise. I mean, just look who runs our city today, being that we're in March of 2025, right? So anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think, what's your ideas. Maybe somebody has a great idea that we haven't heard of or discussed. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. This is Peter Kefalas with Queen's Voice. Be strong and be safe. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.